Baby, be in love with your fantasies. I can be a star, make us shine so bright. Welcome to my dungeon, this is ecstasy. Let me play the fantasy.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ. And we back like we never left. We appreciate y'all for pulling up. We appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yeah.
Most importantly, man, we just appreciate y'all for supporting the channel. Now, we're about to be checking out NASA and Elon Musk, what they discover on Mars. Soon as we saw this one, the first thing that came to mind is I remember when Elon Musk was doing a speech, he was talking about how not just with Tesla, he didn't want to just take Tesla and just make cars. He also wanted to like be able to be able to make rockets and be able to go into space too as well. So
yeah, I've been kind of catching a lot of wind on everything that Elon Musk is wanting to do with NASA and working with NASA with everything that he has going on with Mars. But yeah. I'm still slowly kind of starting unfolding what all he's been talking about. So,
gotcha.
Let's jump into it and see how this goes. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, smash the notification bell, join the family.
Come on now.
And let's hop into this video.
Hey, I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
What do Elon Musk and NASA have in common? The two want to put humans on Mars. Musk wants to do so way faster than NASA, but the billionaire inventor has had to hit the brakes. This is because there is a massive discovery made by NASA on planet Mars that will affect his Mars colonization plans. What has NASA discovered on Mars? How will NASA's discovery affect Musk's plans? Join us as we explore how NASA just made a massive discovery on Mars that will change everything on Musk's plans. They say great minds think alike, which is why the brightest minds at NASA and SpaceX are pursuing the same goal of landing humans on planet Mars. However, the scale and timelines the two entities are working with are different. NASA wants to send a couple of astronauts to Mars in the 2030s, whereas Musk would rather dispatch much more people off to the red planet, if possible, tomorrow. However, Musk should really be paying attention to recent findings made by NASA on Mars.
Wait, but doesn't it take like forever to get to Mars? How long it take to get there?
I mean, it takes a long time, but if you're traveling in one of those rockets that go really fast, I mean, I know they got the rover there in maybe like 6 months, something like that.
Okay, I thought it took
4 months.
That's why I was
Somebody might have to tap in and let us know a little bit closer, but I think they got the rover to Mars in like a matter of like 4 months.
Okay.
Something like that.
So what they do, they put them to sleep and then they, like they did on Aliens, you got to go to sleep until you get to
put you in like a little hyperbaric chamber.
To your destination, till you reach your destination type of thing. I'm not getting on no airplane for 4 months. I'm just not doing that.
But okay? But they also be on the space station for over a year sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I know. I'm just
Just being in a rocket.
Yeah.
No.
However, Musk should really be paying attention to recent findings made by NASA on Mars because they directly affect his plans. Mars is an interesting planet and NASA has made enormous efforts to study it over the years. The space agency has sent a total of 5 rovers to Mars, including Sojourners, Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. This has broadened our knowledge of the planet, but the more sophisticated NASA's rovers have become, the more it becomes clear that there is a lot more to learn about the planet. Of the 5 rovers, only 2 NASA rovers remain active, Curiosity and Perseverance. China has 1 rover too, named Zhurong. NASA does not yet have the capacity to send a human to Mars. This is because it doesn't have all the answers to the issues astronauts will face on the planet, including high levels of radiation, gravity problems, the long travel time to get there, and many more. And it doesn't even have the technology to bring them back home yet. However, rovers allow NASA to explore Mars at a relatively lower cost and at no risk to humans. Curiosity arrived on Mars in 2012 as part of NASA's Mars Science Laboratory MSL mission. The rover still holds the record for the largest rover ever built in terms of size. While pictures may make it appear small, Curiosity is 10 feet or 3 meters long, 7 feet or 2.2 meters tall, and 2.7 meters or 9 feet wide. It is similarly proportioned to an SUV. Since 2012, Curiosity has been traversing the terrain of Mars. It has covered more than 16.8 miles or 27.04 kilometers at speeds of up to 100 feet per hour. But
Can you 16.8 miles in 10 years?
Mm-hmm. And given that, I remember like when they first put like I didn't even know they had 5 rovers on there. I only remember Curiosity and Perseverance.
No, Perseverance is one they just put on there not too like maybe a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Perseverance was there, I think. If I'm not, I don't think it's been that long. I remember seeing something about it. I just don't know when.
I just remember just those particularly too. I didn't know that they had 5 total.
Oh, I did.
5 total rovers on there, but yeah, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Of course, it is not always moving. Unlike its predecessors that were kitted out with solar panels, Curiosity is equipped with a radioisotope power system that produces electricity from the heat of plutonium's radioactive decay.
Wow.
The rover can also take fabulous selfies. The main aspect of Curiosity's mission on Mars is to help determine if the planet ever supported life in the form of microbial life. In that regard, Curiosity has been delivering, with many discoveries that are shaping how scientists view the red planet. The surface of Mars may be too harsh for life now, but scientists suspect that billions of years ago the planet had a climate similar to Earth's. There was a thicker atmosphere and an abundance of liquid water flowing into rivers and seas. Liquid water is crucial for life as we understand it, so scientists think Martian life could have been sustained by substances such as organic carbon. So how has Curiosity been helping us in searching for evidence of life on Mars? Well, carbon is critical to life as far as we know, so anytime we detect a strong carbon signature somewhere like Mars, it could point to biological activity. Carbon is everywhere you can find life. However, there are different kinds of carbon. Carbon atoms have 6 protons, but the number of neutrons can vary. We refer to carbon atoms with different numbers of neutrons as isotopes. Of all carbon types, 3 isotopes occur naturally: C12, C13, and C14. The first 2 are stable, but C14 is a radionuclide. C12 has 6 neutrons, C13 has 7 neutrons, and C14 boasts 8 neutrons. C12 is the most common carbon isotope in life. It is in photosynthesis or metabolizing food. The reason is that C12 has 1 fewer neutron than C13, meaning that when it bonds with other atoms into molecules, it makes fewer connections than C13 does in the same situation. But why are we talking about carbon isotopes? That is because of the discovery made in the Gale crater. The Gale crater is found on Mars, and that is a place where Curiosity has been active since 2012. Scientists say that the sediment was formed through physical and chemical weathering of volcanic rocks before settling at the bottom of the lake. And there are other reasons for scientists to look at the Gale crater for signs of life. For example, the location is found to contain chemical energy sources, low acidity, and other elements apart from carbon, including oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur. The rover has drilled into rocks in the crater to extract a pulverized sample, which it deposits in its onboard chemistry laboratory.
Oh, see, that's what they were doing pretty much with all the rovers, just kind of like getting like samples, testing it, trying to see what type of particles come up in the sand. So this really gets down to like the basics of science, like when they're talking about like carbon and trying to they're just trying to piece together all these puzzles, all these mysteries about Mars that nobody knows. I mean, some of the stuff that they finding could really like tell you what Mars was like 100,000 years ago.
Yeah, I know that they have discovered that there was once upon a time. That's why he made reference to like the water and the life that was actually on Mars. They've made several references in saying that they actually found that there was prior, like at least in terms of water.
That's
okay, I'm just gonna say water. I don't know anything plants and all that stuff. I don't know about that. Okay, water.
Particularly,
at one point,
they just pointed towards like actual water.
Yeah,
and stuff like
so
that.
I mean, that's interesting to know though, because
it is.
That's not what we were taught like in school, you know. so it's fun to hear stuff like this, because the more that they discover, obviously, the more that we're going to learn and find out as well. But it's just interesting to hear that, because it's like, wow.
And the more questions that's going to arise, too.
Is there really a possibility that they're going to really send people to live there?
Yeah.
They're really, really digging to find those answers.
When they say in the 2030s, that's like in the next 10 years, y'all.
Yeah.
It's in the next 10 years.
The lab is known as SAM, or Sample Analysis of Mars. So what happens inside SAM? This is where Curiosity employs pyrolysis to break the sample and convert it into methane. The pyrolysis is done in a flow of inert helium to prevent any contamination in the process. Then it studies the gas with a tunable laser spectrometer to find out which of the carbon isotopes are present in the methane. The team behind Curiosity studied 24 rock samples and discovered something huge. 6 of the samples contained increased ratios of C12 to C13. They used the C12 and C13 ratios found on Earth as a basis for comparison and realized that the sample from the Gale crater contained more than 70 parts per thousand more C12. On Earth, 98.93% of the carbon is C12, and C13 forms the remaining 1.07%. But what does this mean? Simply, if these results were obtained on Earth, they would signal that a biological process produced the abundance of C12. This is why the discovery was exciting. This is how it works on Earth. In the distant past, surface bacteria produce methane as a byproduct. These are known as methanogens, and they are prokaryotes from the archaea domain. You can still find methanogens on Earth today in anoxic wetlands, in digestive tracts of ruminants, and in extreme environments like hot springs.
Ooh.
These bacteria produce methane that eventually ends up in the atmosphere, where it reacts or interacts with ultraviolet light. But the product of these interactions is more complex molecules that would rain down onto the Earth's surface. Once on the Earth's surface, they are preserved in rocks along with their carbon signatures. It is tantalizing to assume the same process took place on Mars, which would neatly explain Curiosity's finding in the Gale crater. Some scientists, however, have other explanations for the finding by the Curiosity rover in the Gale crater. One of them is the molecular cloud hypothesis. The idea is that the solar system passed through a molecular cloud hundreds of millions of years ago. The event is very rare, but there is evidence that it happens about one time in 100 million years.
Wow.
Molecular clouds are mostly made up of molecular hydrogen, but the one that we are talking about may have had a higher concentration of the type of carbon discovered by Curiosity in Gale crater. Mars would have cooled down significantly as a result of this cloud, and together with glaciation, would not have allowed the molecular cloud to mix with the rest of the carbon on Mars. It would only result in the level of C12 increasing. However, the molecular cloud hypothesis remains highly unlikely, even though it is worth looking into. The second explanation involves ultraviolet light. Mars's atmosphere contains over 95% carbon dioxide, and this theory says the carbon dioxide interacted with UV light to produce new carbon-containing molecules, which would have ended up on Mars's surface via rain and be infused in rocks. You will probably note the similarity between this process and the methanogenic one. The difference is that one is completely abiotic. One way scientists are trying...
So wait, would they still have rain and all that kind of stuff too?
Wait, like, what do you mean?
Like today, like, does it rain there? Is it?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's
there's no way.
referring to like back then when the molecular cloud came over Mars, right?
Yeah, they were saying that could have potentially happened like maybe like 100 million years ago, or
Wow.
just millions of years ago, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The difference is that one is completely abiotic. One way scientists are trying to establish which of the three theories is correct is by studying the carbon cycle of the red planet. But Curiosity will continue to study rock samples and measure the carbon isotopes, and scientists will one day get a better chance to analyze the rocks of Mars when the samples collected by NASA's other rover, Perseverance, arrive on Earth. Whatever ends up being the source of the carbon isotope found by Curiosity, Musk would be personally invested in the outcome. Sure, Musk likes science, but he is interested for other reasons. He plans to colonize Mars. Musk's ambition is to see humans living permanently on Mars. He's getting ready to ship up to 1 million people to Mars, where they will start a new life. The Mars colonization is the main motive for the new Starship rocket that Musk is leading the development of. The two-stage rocket has many features that will help Musk achieve his ambition. For example, it is completely reusable, which will greatly reduce the cost of launching humans and cargo into space. Cost is crucial here because many tons of supplies have to be transported from Earth to Mars. The Starship also uses fuel that is theoretically possible to produce on Mars, which will ensure there is enough fuel to send the Starship back to Earth. Musk is pushing the SpaceX crew to work around the clock to complete the Starship, which is necessary if he will meet his goal of sending the first set of humans to Mars by the middle of the decade. He plans to raise funds for the effort from SpaceX's satellite internet Starlink business. However, Mars is very harsh, and for the colonizers to survive on the planet, Musk has to do something: terraform the planet. The idea is to make Mars as habitable as the Earth, or almost. One of the main things lacking on Mars, and is a problem for humans, is a protective atmosphere. But Musk has come up with an idea that we admit is crazy nuking the poles. Musk theorizes that blasting both poles of Mars with nuclear missiles will create artificial suns that will warm the planet, producing an atmosphere similar to the Earth's. Musk had a picture of Mars after terraforming placed in the lobby of SpaceX's facility in Texas. When this happens, the only apparatus humans will need to survive on Mars would be breathing machines. Let's hear what you think
That's
of
what I was
humans
thinking,
living
too.
on Mars in the comments section below.
Wow.
That's one of the things that's kind of like perplexing to me because, again, you know, if it takes you that long, if it takes X amount of time just to get to Mars,
Yeah.
just think about how much oxygen you would have used between the time that, you know, you left Earth to get to Mars.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And then think about that. He said 1 million people.
right.
That just sounds unrealistic to me.
And see, my thinking is before they even get there, they like there's so many things like they talking about the atmosphere, but my thing also would be like once people get there, like breathing machines, like how would you be able to recycle the gases or the air to create oxygen? Because
Right.
you wouldn't be able to bring tons of oxygen there. Like it would just
No.
be too much supplies to bring that. So you would have to
Right.
have some kind of generator on Mars that could actually create oxygen. For like you said, for like 1 million people. So that right there is already
Maybe not
like
at first. Maybe he means like over a period of time. Obviously, because he said colonize.
Well,
which
yeah,
means
yeah,
a whole
definitely.
community.
Definitely,
okay?
like yeah, trying to get 1 million people there, but right now, just to get one person there where it could be habitable for just one person. I mean, obviously, one of the key things would be a protective atmosphere, and then also being able to have reliable oxygen. You know, so
Would those people ever be able to come back though? Would be my question. He did say, like, considering the rocket that they're talking about trying to make to take people there and cargo and that type of thing, it'll be used multi-purposely, I guess I should
Yeah.
say, back and forth where it would be able to fuel itself. But
yeah,
how much is gonna cost to get back?
That's what
Okay,
I'm
I need to go visit the family.
that too.
How,
Right.
how I'm gonna get back?
Yeah.
Is my question, y'all.
And I feel like that was like one of the key things with the rovers too. Like once they sent the rovers there's no way that they could pick them back up and then transport them back here. So it was real key for them to be able to do everything from the rover and be able to send all the information back
Not
to
only
be able
that,
to be
but-
able to get like results from like lab testing and things like that. So that it's just so I just see so many obstacles.
Absolutely, and you got to think about that on top of like communication, emergencies. All of that stuff is it's a very high risk. Like there's a lot of things that are gonna have to go into that. I don't know. He said by the middle of the decade. I don't know if they're gonna be able to make it go that fast, but I do think foreseeably in the future that they're gonna be able to make that happen. I don't know when or at what point, but 5 years just seems like we pushing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe he talking about in the 30s, 2030, 35. Maybe,
Right.
maybe
'Cause-
then
'cause-
there's a
'cause-
possibility, but I just don't see 1 million people being there by 2035 living on Mars.
And somebody would have to break down for us too, like how much it would cost for like fuel,
Oh, yeah.
like to fuel the rocket, not just fuel it, but then also once it gets there, like
to get it back.
like what would be the process as far as like having enough fuel to even get back?
What
you
happens
know?
if it gets there and then it run out of gas and then kaput? All the people are stuck. You can't call and say, "Hey, help."
Well, they'll probably be able to communicate back and forth. You know what I mean? Because they can communicate back and forth with the rover now. So even when they get there, they'll be able to communicate. But yeah, I just don't see. It's just so many obstacles that like they would have to like set up a whole space station either around Mars, like orbiting Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Or they would have to. That's probably where they would start at first. Some type of space station around Mars, and then being able to like actually land on it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's so many steps to even get to putting
That part-
feet on the ground.
Yeah. Agree.
But this was a very interesting video. Like I said, I do remember Elon Musk, just having those type of ambitions, saying that he didn't want to just build cars. He wanted to actually build like rockets and go to space. So
Right.
This is a good video.
We shall see, okay? But y'all let us know what y'all think about this as well down in the
Come on
comment section. And if y'all enjoyed this, be sure you give us a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification bell so you don't miss any videos from Asia and BJ. And if ain't nobody else told you, I love you. And we're going to see y'all in the next video, y'all.